So, what made you want to go to photography in the first place?
Photography. Going into photography is not something that I envisioned myself doing or even enjoying. But there was a specific time in my life where I saw the impact of documenting just my life in general through the photo lens. And when you're in that space, when I was in that space, that was like a really calm and peaceful time. Um, it's kind of like the world just disappears and it's literally you, it's nature, and this photo lens. And just knowing how to document and just wanting the desire, the urge to document the just nature and history that as you know it, or documenting the joys of just seeing people living their life, or just being themselves. That's something that I found a passion for. And you don't have to you don't have to conform to people's standards when you're taking photos. You're in control. You're simply the one in control, and ain't nobody can tell you nothing about it. And whatever people decide they wanted to say about the photo, they can go suck it because it's your photo. And despite the many, many years that I've been bullied or harassed, this is the one thing that they can't take away from me. And that's the ability to capture history and life as I know it through my lens. The bullying really did me a solid at the same time that it caused me a lot of trauma. Because, I don't know, I guess photography is such a isolating thing if you really want to like dive into it. Like, photography can be super isolating and super lonely sometimes because it'll take you 10,000 years in a very, very remote spot in the middle of nowhere just to get the most amazing shot that you can ever take in the world. I think the depression really gets to you once you start really digging yourself and immersing yourself in those 6 hours, 10 hours that you're in the middle of nowhere. I think my trip to some lake in Canada um, took me a day to hike up to the spot that I wanted to get a sunrise photo. And it just so happens that that time of the year it aims at specifically in between the two mountain peaks. So when the sun rises up, it would be it would be like the perfect shot. But you got to get up at ass crack of dawn to and camp out there for like ages in order for you to get that shot. And in those times, in that specific moment of those 6 to 10 hours that you're waiting for that sun to rise, you get to reflect a lot, and it gets really lonely because then you're just starting to think you're in your own thoughts. You're not listening to anything. You're not listening to no music. You want to immerse yourself in the nature. I mean, it's Banff. Like, come on, you can't just go to Banff and like not listen to the birds chirp. I say nature is overrated, but when you're in Banff, Canada, you obviously want to be a part of it. And that's where I'm going with like the whole like you gotta see where you are in order for you to see whether nature is alive or not. But when you're in those moments, it's you really reflect on what happened to you in your youth, and it gets really depressing. There's nobody there to air out or vent out your frustrations, and you're just there with you and your thoughts and maybe the stars. But at the same time, I think having that time to process what's going on in your life really helps you to gain clarity and understanding and move forward from it. So it's kind of where photography saved me, in a sense. You know, this little inanimate object that has some glasses, some mirrors, some plastic, molds together real nicely, and decides that it'd be a great way to at least help cure my depression. I mean, therapy did it. What is therapy gonna do? Tell me that it's okay? I don't need it to tell me it's okay. I can tell myself that. Gaslighting. Have you ever had that moment where you had taken photos? Like you're sitting, say we're going back to Banff again, and you're sitting with your tripod, your little lawn chair, and you're looking at nature, and then you suddenly get like a bam of just depression. It's like suddenly you thought about all the shitty things that happened to you in your life, and you were so overwhelmed by the amount of memories that come flooding back that you just suddenly went like you can't feel anything about it. It's crazy because I'm such a sociopath that again what people say, like they say I'm low-key a sociopath because I can't really process emotions the same way that other people can, or what people like to say normal people can. And all you can really do in that moment is just be enveloped in that overwhelmingness. And you can't even cry, you can't even whimper. It's not even something that you can express outwardly. You just sit there numb. Has that ever happened to you?
It's happened to me.
Crazy.
Do you have anyone to thank for your successful career?
What do you want me to say? My mom? My dead dad? Maybe my dead dog? I feel like someone to thank would be a little... That seems to be like something I can count in the palm of my hands. The amount of people that I can thank for my career is not a whole lot. I don't like people in general, so I don't have a whole lot of people to thank. I'll maybe say, yeah, sure, I can thank my mom, I can thank my dad, but they're not the ones who drove me forward. I mean, they drove me forward, but they drove me forward out of spite. They never thought that this was something that I could do and make money out of, but I'll thank them out of spite because that's what got my career to where it is. And without that spite, there's a lot of things that can't happen. And with that, I say, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Thanks to my dead dog, Teddy. That's who I have to thank.
Wait, should we cut rolling?
I actually wish that in some way, in some messed up part of my brain, I really wish that I had my friends and my family to support me. But, that's the story of an immigrant child who wants to chase their dreams. It's the price you pay for wanting fame.
Why are your photos so devoid of color?
Because my life is devoid of color. I don't know, actually. I think it just stems from me not seeing. You see so many artists, having color photos, and I'm just simply lazy. I love shooting black and white because sometimes people just need to see that things are very just simply black and white. And maybe there's gray, there's moral gray grounds, or like you think that it's one or the other, but I think shooting in black and white is mainly because I'm lazy, but also like I enjoy seeing how people interpret and bring their own colors into the picture or into a space, because when I see people put my photos up in their homes that are either full of color and big vibrant things, and then there's just my black and white, but there's also, in the same flip side, there are like grand architect mansions, like mansions that are made by famous architects, and then they're literally just white walls or like beige walls or like cream walls, and then you just put my photo up there. It looks equally as boring as the rest of the house. But you know what? I don't. Who am I to judge? I'm just lazy.
Are you okay?
Am I okay? I don't know. Are you okay? I feel like some people could say I'm depressed, you know, and that's... I don't agree with it, but apparently my doctor said so. So I guess I'm depressed. But I wouldn't say exactly I have anything like that. I want to say that my depression is simply a word that my doctor likes to describe me, or what people in society want to categorize me as. But at the end of the day, you know, I don't see it as depression. I see it just as me, my little piece of plastic and glass, and the world. Love is such a... Love is something that just hasn't really made its way into my life. I could say that I love photography. I could say that I love nature. I could say I love this camera, this pile of glass and plastic. But if you're talking about falling in love with somebody or a person, I don't know if I ever have, or I don't know if I ever have enough emotions to really classify that as love, because every person that I've deemed in my younger years to love has always left. And you know, they have either left or they left me used, feeling used. Like, it's not that they actually love me, it's that they love my body. And it's sad, really, because I always wanted to seek meaningful connection, and sometimes meaningful connection means something different to everybody. For me, it just means that I want to find somebody that I can sit at home with and scroll on TikTok, and just be able to have them physically there. Like, that's the type of love that I wish to have. Like, both of us could just be content with just sitting there and enjoying each other's presence. But society doesn't like that anymore. Don't know why. Don't know where we went wrong with that, boomers. But love is such a construct. It's difficult. And so I choose to love inanimate objects instead. I choose to love my photography. I choose to pour my passion into it instead of into somebody that'll leave eventually. Or maybe they won't, but you know what? We'll never find out. So I love my camera too goddamn much that people are looking at me like I'm crazy every once in a while. Be like, you love that camera more than you'll love anybody in the world, more than you'll love your mom. And to that, I say, no. This camera has never failed me. This camera has simply either decided that it was going to work 10 out of the 10 times that I wanted to work, or not at all. And at least that's predictable.
How do you live to see another day?
I can't even live to see the other minutes. I can't imagine the next minute that I'm living. How in the world am I supposed to imagine how I'm gonna live the rest of my damn life? The rest of my damn life is so unpredictable, you know. Had you asked me, I don't know what, a year ago, whether I would actually want to get myself into this profession, I may as well just say no. But, you know, I jumped into this knowing damn well that I don't have all the necessary skills, but I built it, and I found my way on my own time, you know? Like, just, I don't see myself in the future because I simply don't know whether I'll live to the next minute, let alone the rest of my life. I don't even know if I'll live to see the next minute, but in the end of the day, as soon as I see the sunrise, you know, I think, yeah, it's okay. I can live another minute. If I take a particularly good photo, maybe that day I'll be like, hey, I could live to see how that photo turns out in somebody's wall. Why not? You only live once.
Got him! Got him!
Why do you like to shoot specifically in black and white?
No, you're supposed to ask the other question. Fuck.
What happened?
My AirPods died. Hello? You can't be dying on me, man. I don't want to hear pigeons screeching.